Hey, how are you? Good to have you here. We were just chatting about how nice it is outside. When was the last time that you remember having a conversation and saying, what a beautiful November we're having? That never happens. So we're going to enjoy it while it lasts. We know snow is around the corner somewhere, but let's just love it while we can. And you know what? We've got a terrific show coming up. I'm going to tell you about it in a second. But first, we've got this whole thing coming up with Mayor John Tory. It's your chance to ask him anything that might be on your mind. This is your chance to speak with Mayor John Tory. It's happening on the 24th of November at 8 p.m. Let's hope it's a nice day that day too. And it's called the Ask Mayor Tory Town Hall. It's happening at Lawrence Park Church. So if you want to be part of this, you can actually save your seat by registering now at rogerstv.com. It's going to be pretty exciting. A chance to sit down and have a chat with the mayor. So if you want more information, visit rogerstv.com/askmayortory, and all the details you need to know, plus your opportunity to register for it, to reserve your seat, will be right there. Now, coming up on the show today, learn how oral health changes throughout your life. It starts, well, it's obvious when we're kids. Our first teeth grow in and then they fall out and we get our adult teeth. But subtle changes happen as we grow older at all stages of life. So how to keep those nasties at bay so we can keep the teeth we have, and if not, what to do about it. And then we're going to talk about art collecting. Oh, I don't have enough money for art collecting, you say. I can't afford original artwork from the Group of Seven. Well, maybe you can. Art Buying 101 for the new collector. And apparently this is stuff that will actually fit into a modest budget. And then we're going to have amazing food. We're talking gnocchi or gnudi. Gnocchi or gnudi, I can't remember which one. Yeah, gnocchi. Ricotta gnocchi. We're going to have chicken cacciatore, but there's a little twist here. We've amped up the fiber using an ingredient you'll never guess. So Chef Craig Harding from Campagnolo is here, and he'll show us how we can amp up the fiber in these amazing classic Italian meals. Plus holiday gifts with eBay. By the way, what's happening with online buying for this Christmas? What's happening with mobile buying? We've got some interesting stats to share with you around that. A call to action for Canadians for Lung Cancer Awareness Month. Well, if I don't smoke, I can't get lung cancer, right? Wrong. We're going to give you that startling information and some pretty shocking facts about lung cancer. It's more prevalent than you would think, even though smoking rates are going down. So all that and so much more is coming up. Daytime Toronto starts right now. Periodontist from St. Clair Periodontics, Dr. Yair Lenga. Good to have you here, Doctor.
Great to be here. Thank you for involving me and including me.
You know, we've got to pay attention to our teeth from cradle to grave.
Absolutely. It's a topic that doesn't get a lot of attention about the support around our teeth. I think we see a lot of things on television about flossing, brushing, trying to maintain teeth that are free from cavities, and also how to brighten our teeth and make them look beautiful. Sometimes we forget about the support for those teeth, the gum, the bone, all the health that actually anchors those teeth into the gums.
Well, when I was a kid, I didn't take care of my teeth, but then I learned and I thought everything was fine until later in life, and I realized there was a lot of damage in there from those early years that now I'm dealing with. So I'm totally on board with what you have to say.
Absolutely, and I think it's also something that people don't realize how prevalent it actually is. And when we look at the literature and when we actually start to do cross-sectional studies, not only in sort of communities that don't have access to dentistry, but in our own community here, we see that almost 30% of the population from cradle to grave shows signs of breakdown of the gum and the bone and the support, the ligaments that hold teeth.
Really?
Absolutely.
So that would cause what then? If the ligaments are falling apart, if the bone's falling apart, what's happening?
Well, if we don't have good support for our teeth, we see that they can actually start to get loose. We see that they start to move. And we actually see that we get inflammation around the teeth. And you know, you brought up a great topic in terms of the health, like lung health, that's coming up later in the show. We're starting to see a lot of systemic diseases that are linked to inflammation. And inflammation in the mouth is one of the key areas that actually influence the rest of our body.
Right on, because if it's happening here, you're ingesting all of that stuff.
Absolutely.
All right, so periodontal disease would be what exactly?
So perio means everything that surrounds the teeth. So periodontal, dontal meaning teeth. So we look at the gum tissue, the ligament, the bone. What we start to see that we get inflammation around the teeth, we start to see it affecting other organs.
Okay.
Diabetes has the strongest connection with inflammation in the mouth. So we start to see that if we create protocols about maintaining inflammation and seeing our dentist regularly for cleanings, taking good care at home, flossing and brushing, we can actually lower the incidence of diabetes and make our medications that treat diabetes more effective.
I've heard the same for heart disease too. You've brought some pictures. Is that true, heart disease?
Absolutely. There's huge connections with that, and also preterm low birth weight.
Jeepers. All right, you brought some pictures. Let's have a look at those, and maybe you can explain what we are looking at. Oh, here we have a nice cup of coffee.
So we actually see that coffee is an anti-inflammatory, but it actually has some damaging effects on the teeth themselves. The acidity of it and also the temperature can affect how the teeth age over time. And we start to see that they can break down the enamel and the protective coating.
Same with pop.
Pop and colas. Sugar, the acidity of it can really affect the health and the integrity of the tooth and also the surrounding tissues.
Ugh.
And we start to see that we're a very visual type of population. We like to have our teeth looking healthier, brighter, whiter. And so there's a lot of things that we can do to actually reverse those signs of staining, whether it be from whitening toothpastes to whitening agents to even crowns and veneers.
Mm-hmm. Those look like veneers maybe?
And
oh, what's happening here?
That's recession. So that's where the gum tissue is actually starting to creep away from the support, being the actual roots that are supposed to be embedded in the gum. And roots are designed to be very different than the enamel. Think of it like...
So it's not covered with that protective enamel. You're feeling everything on those teeth.
Absolutely. Sensitivity, it's sort of the advent of having sensitive types of toothpaste. And this was a patient of ours who actually finished her orthodontic treatment, and she came to us saying, what's going on with our gums? What's going on with the tenderness and the redness and inflammation around the tooth? And these are things that can happen at any age, and you hit the nail on the head.
All right, well, we've only got about 2 minutes left, and you've brought some
Absolutely.
interesting stuff here, too. What can you show us?
So one of the things that we're seeing with the advent of technology, so titanium, we start to see that in artificial joints, elbows, hips, and knees, and orthopedic surgery. We can use some of that technology to give people alternatives to some of the older treatments.
But
So-
I love the idea of wearing a denture someday. That sounds like so much fun.
Can I tell you, this week alone, I think I had 3 patients who said, I would rather do anything in the world than have a hockey puck like this in the mouth. And thankfully today, we can give alternatives to our patients. And we can actually give them implant-supported teeth that take away this entire bulk of plastic, and we can anchor a brand new set of teeth on just a few dental implants.
So that part's gone.
So people can taste better, they can speak better, and these are teeth that don't come in and out of the mouth, unlike the older dentures.
So they're anchored, I see here. Oh, interesting. Okay. What's this?
So this is just an example of how a dental implant actually works. So if we look over here, this is the porcelain crown that comes out of the bone into the mouth.
Just turn it a little bit so that the camera, there we go. So that's what we see.
That's what everybody wants to have, a nice white tooth coming out from their gums. But what we see is it's actually anchored to a dental implant.
So there are solutions. If you want more information, stclairperio.ca. Thank you so much. We can have a beautiful smile no matter what the age, right?
Absolutely.
Excellent. When we come back, Art Buying 101. We can have an art collection. Why not? Man, you want to have an art collection. You'd rather not have the prints that you've bought from the big box stores. You want to feel like you can impress your friends, but it costs so much money. We've got the president of Consigner Canadian Fine Art, Rob Cowley, here to talk about how we actually can start building an art collection that we love and isn't going to break the bank.
Definitely.
So you have an auction that starts tomorrow, and some of the pieces that you've got on display are featured in this catalog. Just brilliant. So what? Where do we start?
Well, we have an auction. It's open from the 18th to the 25th at consigner.ca. All of the bidding is online. We do have a gallery as well where you can come in and take a look. And the auction itself, not only does it have works by the Group of Seven, original works, and Jean-Paul Riopel, and works in the tens of thousands of dollars, it also does have many works, which I've brought today, that do appeal to the new collector. And all of the works that I've brought today, in fact, bidding opens at under $1,000. And many of them are original works of art. Absolutely.
You said Jean-Paul Riopel. This is him here.
There it is, yeah.
That guy. Right there, if you're able to get that shot. So you said he's pretty famous, right?
Very famous Canadian, but perhaps definitely one of Canada's best known contemporary painters. Very much celebrated not only nationally but internationally. That work of art is valued between $30,000 and $40,000. Wow. So definitely for those collectors who have an interest at that level, we do offer those works. But again, with our system, with online, it really does cater also to the new collector, and it does remove some of that intimidation sometimes associated with buying artwork and with the auction process itself.
I was going to say, we're intimidated. We don't want to waste our money on something that doesn't have value, and we truly don't know what to look for. So
definitely.
It's hard for us. All right, you walk us through it a little bit.
Well, I've brought today about 6 or 7 pieces. Many of them are original works of art, but I've also brought some limited edition prints as well. And the word print can be a bit tough because it can cover reproductions. And sometimes reproductions can have no limit. They can essentially be like posters, which may not carry any value into the future. However, the limited edition prints that I brought, one by Rita Letendre, which is down in the center here,
that
down
one
in
there?
the center here, would have a limit in its run. And as well, we have another one just over here by Christopher Pratt.
So
the
let's
two on the floor.
Let's look at this one here. Okay, so that's the one you first mentioned.
That one right there. So Rita Letendre, a very well-known Quebec painter as well, Toronto-based. Her artwork is in many private as well as institutional collections, and as well, a lot of it is in public spaces. So that print actually opens at about $200.
Okay.
So very much affordable. If we look up here, we can look at some of the original paintings around us here. We can even start on the end here. This is a work here. Now, one thing that we certainly recommend is for a new collector is do your research. Try to have a focus. And many collectors will focus maybe on an area geographically that's depicted. This is actually Cherry Beach, so it's a Toronto scene. So this scene here, Bernice Fenwick Martin, not an incredibly well-known artist the same way that the Group of Seven are. However, she did actually paint with members of the Group of Seven. She she actually knew members of the Group of Seven as well, and painted very well. And this fantastic painting, it is Cherry Beach. This work opens at about $600 in the auction, which opens tomorrow.
Again, that seems reasonable.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is reasonable.
Beautiful.
Now, if we move over, we have a work here by Herbert Sidney Palmer. Palmer is another celebrated historical Canadian artist. This is very typical of his work, these types of landscapes. This work's in fantastic condition as well. It's been in the same collection for many years. He exhibited internationally, and this work opens at about $1,000
Wow,
in the auction as
that
well.
is just Ontario all over the
It
place,
really
isn't it?
Yeah, and he was
Look
a
at
master of that, without a doubt. And if your taste is more abstract as well, we have a work here by Jean-Paul Gérôme. I mean, we're looking at the Riopel painting, in the catalog that can be about $30,000. This work by Jean-Paul Gérôme, and again, the issue here is the artist himself. Although a fantastic artist, a little bit lesser known, but certainly celebrated in his own right. And this work opens at about $550.
Is this is a painting, right?
It is a painting.
It
That's
looks
an
like
original
multimedia,
painting.
but it is a painting.
It's a painting, very flat, so it'd be acrylic on canvas, but absolutely. That's an original work of art by the artist, and opens at about $550.
So different from the other ones that you've shown us.
Definitely.
Really depends on your taste. How do you know what your taste is, whether you gravitate to landscapes, nature scenes, or something more abstract? How do you find that?
Well, one of the main rules is buying what you like. And it can take a little bit of time to really determine that. We will, part of the research category, we really recommend that clients do as much research as possible, not to feel pressured to buy right away. Our gallery, we preview the works for about 30 days. We invite clients to come in, even if they have no interest in buying, to take a look at what's on display, take a look at what's on offer each season, go to different websites. Our website at consigner.ca, you can do all kinds of research on your own before you decide to buy. Speak to specialists as well. We're more than happy to speak to people who have an interest and really decide what you like. Because when you are buying a work of art for the first time as well, it has to be something you like, because you have to live with it and really feel pride in what you've purchased.
Should you be buying something that goes with your decor?
It can be a factor. It certainly shouldn't be the only factor. One factor that is related to decor right now is space. What we're finding more and more is that these types of works, smaller works of art, are very popular, not only with new collectors, but with established collectors, as so many people are downsizing, and as well, so many new homes are open concept, they have less wall space. On the other side of that, it's also a great time to look at larger work. Large contemporary work that's being offered at auction, a lot of works like that are being offered for less than they were even 10 years ago, because there's less collectors who have the space for them as well.
All right, have we talked about this one yet?
This is a work by Manly MacDonald, another very famous, well-known Ontario artist. He was a very prolific artist, so he painted quite a few works during his lifetime. This is a very typical work by him. It opens at about $1,000 as well. His work really has held its value over the years at auction and in commercial galleries as well. So he's definitely a very popular artist and painted at a very high quality as well. And that's one of the reasons that his work tends to hold value.
Starts at $1,000. Where do you suppose it'll end up?
It's always difficult to say. Certainly all it takes is 2 bidders. Our bidding is open between the 18th and the 25th. There will be some activity as